you're contemplating on buying a home and you think the prices are going to go down, I have news for you. Yes, anything can happen. Nobody has a crystal ball. And I myself see what happened in 2007 when we had the real estate crash. But the fact of the matter is, I want you to understand something. Property has to come up. It will always come up. It has to do with inflation. It has to do with the finance system. I myself major in economics back when I was in New York, but I want you to show you something to prove my case. Here you go. Let's go to the board right here. I want to rush so that way I get this over with quickly. Look, in 1940s, properties was $3,920. Notice the average income at the time was $2,950. It started out at $7,225. So that basically means that somebody with their income on an annual basis got paid. Houses were worth 2 times and a quarter more than the average annual income. Let's continue. Let's go back to 1950s. If you look at 1950s, properties right here, you see this newspaper clip. I'm opening it up for you so you can see it. House in 1950s was $7,900. A 3-bedroom house, you can see right here. I myself had this newspaper clipping, that's why I know. I studied a lot back in the days on real estate. So you can see it was $7,900. For a 2-bedroom was $7,450. The monthly payment was $49.74. Let's continue. Now look at here. Property prices, medium house in 1960 was $11,900. $11,900. Okay. Now back in the 1960s, 68 out of every 100 Americans could afford a home. And back in 1920, only 43 out of every 100 Americans can afford a home. Please note, we're in 2023 where it got even worse because property inflated. Now let's continue. In 1960s, 1970, you can see home were at $15,000. They went up all the way to $32,000. And by 1980, they started out, it went up as high as $45,000. That was in 1980. So imagine if you had that misconception of, oh, let me wait for the property price to go back down to $7,000 or $11,000. You would have priced yourself out of a home. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Let's continue. Look back in the 1980s, as you can see here, homes were at $47,200. Remember, this is in the state of Florida. I also want you to understand that some areas like Miami might be more expensive, others more cheaper, but I'm going by the medium average. So let's continue. You can see the mortgage rate back in 1981, look at it right here, was 16.63% interest versus today's interest rate, which is 7%. Go figure, look at that, 1981, 2022, okay? How much difference? Again, you can see 16.63, 7%. And now, what are the actual home prices? The average home prices today, $410. Keep in mind, in Miami, it's more expensive, $585. I'm in Kissimmee, and I honestly can tell you that our houses here are a lot higher than $410. So, I want you to see something. So, I myself, when I bought my property back in 1997, my interest rate was 13%. And I remember I refinanced, and I got a 9%. I was like, woohoo, 9%. And people are complaining about 7%, which reality is, the people that had a 2.5% interest rate, that was back at COVID. And it's going to be a weird market. It is a weird market. It's a unique market because the sellers that had a 2.5%, 3% interest rate, think about it. Why would they sell? Why would they downgrade? Usually people downgrade. So wait a minute, if I downgrade, though, with that interest rate we have now, I'm going to end up paying more mortgage, so they're not selling. And we have all these baby boomers relocating from up north that are buying homes here, so the demand is great. Supply and demand, you remember, right? There's not enough supply, there's a lot of demand, so that's going to keep appreciating property. You cannot change that unless we have a major crash like the United States dollar, FICO dollar comes crashing down, right? Because we are a fiat currency, because the competition with Russia and China was going on. I'm not going to get into that. The fact of the matter is that then we all screw because we lose income, jobs, and all that. But meanwhile, housing will continue. What do you think is going to happen on the decade from now? So if you keep waiting, and I've been hearing this since back 5 years ago, oh, property price is going to come down. Property price is coming down. I remember Dave Ramsey. Oh, save 20%. Dave Ramsey himself. Save 20% so you can afford buying a house. Yeah, right. Well, those people that listen to him, and I'm sorry to say it, was saving 20%. Houses more than doubled at that time. And a lot of people lost out because, honestly, I remember we had an inflation of over $100,000 on a property. So those that were saving 20%, they priced themselves out of a home. And they wish they would not listen to that advice. If you look over here, a lot of my books are missing. I lend a lot of my books out. I never got them back. You can see, while most people were playing football, watching football, baseball, sports, I was here reading. Okay, I always read a lot. I read a lot of books. Okay, that's what keeps me ahead. And I major in real estate and macroeconomics back in New York. So, what I'm saying is, stop waiting. Stop waiting for the interest rate to come up or down. You can always refinance. The time to buy is now. And for those minorities that are listening to me, especially the Latin people, all right, property is number one. Real estate is number one. Appreciation, wealth builder for minorities. That's right. Okay? So you have two options. Either you're going to pay your mortgage, which is yours, or you're going to pay your landlord's mortgage. One thing I want you to also understand, many people they forget this. Mortgage has one payment plan for amortization for 30 years. Granted, property taxes go up, but keep in mind that rent will continue to go up. So you're going to price yourself out of a home, but you will always pay somebody else's mortgage. And as far as property prices going up, many people don't understand economics. They don't understand how a dollar works. One thing I can tell you is this. I want you to understand this. Property are assessed, have an assessed value by the tax assessor's office, which is normally about 80% of the actual market value. But that being stated is, based on that assessment, it has a percentage that they charge what is called property taxes. And for those of you that don't know, property taxes pays for fire department, cops, schools, ambulance, roads, municipalities such as judges, courts, and all that. So the point is, when inflation, you see it keeps going up, cars go up, gas goes up, cops need to have patrol cars, all that goes up. So how are they going to get the money? How are they going to keep the government running? They have no other choice but to what? Artificially, somehow, create inflation and inflate the property value. So if you're waiting for the property to come down, I'm sorry for you. I highly doubt it. Again, like I said, nobody has a crystal ball. Things can happen in the market, but if it does, we all screwed. So stop waiting. Don't worry about that interest rate. I myself, like I said before, I had a 13%, and I lowered to 9%. That interest rate right now is not as high as you think. But that's slowing you down from making an educated, informed decision of buying real estate. Because property will keep appreciating, and you don't want to price yourself out. As you saw before, as I showed you, 43% of Americans now in 2020 were able to buy a home. I think it's even less now compared to back in the 60s, where 68% of people were able to afford a home. So it's going to get even worse. The dollar, you may not see it, it's an invisible tax. It's called inflation. It keeps losing value. Everything keeps going up. More taxes are being introduced into our system, but your income slightly goes up compared to the actual, what is called the value of the dollar. Okay? So stop waiting. Take advantage and buy a home today. I hope this helps. Please like, comment, and share. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Pay your own mortgage. Thank you for watching. God bless.